Big Boys Neighborhood, Real 92.3, live in studio right now with someone. I'm so excited that you are here right now. I've got Jussie Smollett in the studio, and we are going to talk about all things that are coming up for you.
Yes.
I feel like I can't even say coming up because it's been like...
Because it's here.
It's like a new, I want to say it's like a new venture for you in a sense, even though what you've just done, you've kind of been doing, but this one is like just yours debut album, Some of My Music. Can you tell me why you wanted to make an album?
Well, I've always wanted to make an album,
Okay.
and I was recording my album. I had released an EP of, I think, like 5 or 6 songs called The Poison Hearts Club, and like years ago, maybe 6 years ago. And then I booked this little known show named Empire. And
that's where I've seen you.
Yeah. And then I had to kind of strip everything offline of my previous music, So I think that Empire kind of wanted to portray the idea of almost this American Idol discovery minus the competition of American Idol.
So, but you have that music somewhere though, like you've got it.
It's somewhere, and there's some people. There's probably like it went like triple plastic. It went like double sawdust. You feel me? So there's like 213 people that have it. But there are there are definitely people that have it, and I still have it somewhere. But yeah, and then I was recording my album before I booked Empire, and then that got put on the back burner, and a lot of those songs ended up on the Empire soundtrack, like I Want to Love You and All of the Above and Hemingway, songs that I wrote prior to the show. Chasing the Sky was written for myself, not written for the show, but they ended up being on that, and I ended up putting my all into the Empire music and the Empire soundtrack. And nothing was happening for my own personal solo career. We were in this deal, and then I just asked for them to take it back. Yeah. Because, I'm still a climbing artist. I don't want to be stifled and held on to have to do one thing. So my whole thing was always, freedom. And that's what I found with this album. That's why it was so important to just do it, and I'm doing it all myself.
I love that.
I have so many incredible people supporting me, but at the same time, it's my money going into it fully.
Wow. So you're betting on yourself.
Yeah.
I love that.
I mean, listen, my mom told me when I was younger, she's like, learn to produce and you better learn to write, because nobody's going to care about your stuff more than you. Yeah.
Definitely. What other advice did your mom give you growing up? Because I think there's always a handful of things that when we look back, we're like, man, they said that so many times, but it is so true.
Yeah. My mom, we used to clown her.
Really?
Because her thing was always she would say it over and over and over. She'd be like, honor, honesty. She'd say, honor, honesty. She's like, don't lie. Whenever we would tell, the smallest, most stupid lie that kids tell. And she would sit there and she would, of all the things that we could do, she would sit and she would get on us so hard about lying and about not being good to each other, because there's 6 of us. So just there was always this idea that you had to honor honesty and don't lie, because you don't like the way that it feels when people catch you in a lie.
I feel like the people have a misconception, or either a misconception or they have a perception of what Hollywood is, and there is this essential maybe a falsehood there within the industry. Growing up with that of honor, honesty, and then coming into an industry where you maybe can't trust a lot of people. Right. Was that hard to navigate?
No, because I've been in the business since I was 4 years old. So I think that that's also a piece of why she continuously said that, is because we grew up in the industry. So for that, she didn't want it to be a thing where we got caught up in what people thought of us, good or bad.
Yeah.
Quincy Jones says, don't believe the good that people say about you, because you'll also believe the bad. And I feel like that's so true. That's why I disconnect from social media sometimes, because I don't want to hear what everybody thinks of me at all times, good or bad. You know what I'm saying? So for us and for me, it was just a thing of living my best life, you know what I'm saying? And being as honest with myself as possible, and recognizing that the word love is thrown around very, just so easily in this business. Yeah. And, I got your back. Like, I love it. Yeah, they love you, but do they really? No, they don't, and realizing that fame is fame is not real. The way that you make people feel with your art, that's real, and as long as you recognize that, all that other stuff, it'll fall into place and it'll be fine.
Well, speaking of how you make people feel in this album, I think I'm not going to say it correctly, but you just said you were like, I want people to feel love when it comes to the songs that you are putting out. Have you been surprised just yet on the reception on certain songs? Like, I was hoping someone would like this, but wow, the reception on this has been pretty good.
Yeah, honestly, there's 2 songs specifically.
I wonder if they're the 2 that are my favorite.
It's so funny because honestly, Insecurities touches people in a way that I was very, for lack of a better word, very insecure about putting Insecurities on my album.
Wow.
And because it's so thoughtful and it's so reflective, and it is exactly kind of a summary of what I've gone through these last couple of years, what I've seen, the people that I've met, and it is what it is. And then the other song is "Don't Go." That is kind of about my issues with. It's not about my boo. It's about the other people looking at my boo, and it actually was very much inspired by my older brother Jojo, who goes through the same thing. And I was listening to him talk to his wife one time, and she's like, "But I love you," and da 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 da. And he's like, "But babe, it's not about you. It's about these other mother." You know what I'm saying? So to me, that song was absolutely inspired by Jojo.
Oh, I love
that. But yeah, just seeing the way that people are kind of feeling different songs. There's certain songs that I know that people will love, but then there's other songs I'm like, yo, I love that you love that song.
See, mine's Staycation.
Okay. See people talking about Staycation, and I'm telling you, Staycation, I wasn't expecting for people to. I love the song.
Yeah.
But that's why it's on the album. Yeah. But I wasn't expecting necessarily for people to, say Staycation or what I would do or, things like that. So it's been a pleasant surprise.
I love that. When I heard Staycation, I was just, when sometimes you just get lost in a song and I was listening to it, I was like, and then I just found myself just kind of relaxed. I know, granted, the word staycation, but I just was like, yeah, this feels nice.
Just chill. I feel like I love you for that, because the whole album really is just, it's a vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's a head bop. It's a vibe. You sit there and, we in LA, so we could say, you smoke your smoke, you drink your drink, you love your love, you do whatever you're going to do, and you listen to the album, and it's just feel good. It's 35 minutes, it's 10 tracks, and, it's easy to go through.
Were there any artists, or past or present, that really either inspired you or maybe you looked up to when it came time to making your own music?
I would be a complete fraud if I did not acknowledge the fact that Michael Jackson is probably the biggest influence on my entire life. I think that people automatically see that Michael is, but they don't really realize just how big of an influence Janet Jackson is to me. I can't say was, I have to say is.
I just had to get, I got chills right now.
You know what I'm saying? Like she's the queen, and just.
Did you see her in her last tour?
Yes, and I got my picture with her.
How much did she kill it though?
She killed it. She murdered it. You know what I'm saying? And she knows exactly what we as her diehard long life forever ever fans want to hear. And she just gives it.
I'm not gonna put names out there, but I know someone that works in this building that was like, "You went to a Janet show?" And I went, yeah. And he was like, "How'd she do?" And I was like, "Shit!" And I just went nuts with it. She just it was my first time ever seeing Janet live.
Are you serious?
Because let me tell you, I used to watch Velvet Rope on VHS. My sister had taped it, and I would watch it every day. And I was just like, I wish
I was at that concert at Times Square. Not Times Square. Madison Square Garden.
Oh, I hate you.
Yeah, it was the best. I love you too, but I understand why you would hate me, but it's all good.
So for years, I was like, I need to see Janet live. And I saw her one time. She had done like a station concert, and I was on the street team, and I was young, and I was like, oh my god, that's Janet. But because I was working, I didn't get to see her perform. I only got to see her a sound check real quick. So when she came around this time, and then she got pregnant, and I was like, oh my god,
we ain't never gonna see this.
What is it ever?
Dang, girl.
So she was just, I love that Janet.
She is my favorite. And for this album, honestly, the biggest influence is I should say the music that I listen to the most, because I know what I love, and I know what I want the vibe to be. For this album, I listened to Off the Wall by Michael Jackson. I listened to everything Janet, and I listened to a lot of Marvin Gaye and Maxwell.
Nice.
Maxwell to me is just shit
Yeah,
is just
how do you keep your clothes on
like
when it's music?
the man. Like he is the man. And Marvin Gaye, as we know, is just a god.
Always, yeah.
So I mean, those four, and of course I have so many people that I love, so many people that I respect, but those four people probably were the ones that I listened to the most in the process of putting the album together, sequencing the album, and seeing which one is going to be on it.
Catch Your Eye, Swizz Beatz. How did that come together?
If I'm being honest, I was in a bad place. I was in a bad place, and I called up Swizz just creatively, where I felt I just had creative blue balls.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Where I felt like I was so grateful for what I had, but that gratitude, I was settling into that gratitude, and I still felt that gratitude every single day. But I was starting to feel very stifled, not by Empire, but by the idea that I couldn't release my own music.
Yeah.
And I'd been told season after season, okay, it's going to happen this season, it's going to happen that season, it's going to happen this season. And I called up Swizz, and I was just talking to him, and I said, yo, I just want to record. I just want to record my own stuff.
Yeah.
And he said, tell me a date. Let's figure out a date. And I went to Swizz. I flew myself to New York quietly. No one knew. And I just started recording. And he gave me 5 days at his studio and just recorded. And he didn't bring me some tracks. Not that there's anything wrong with that, you know what I'm saying? But he didn't bring me some tracks. We sat there and we created from the ground up. And he brought in Music Man Ty, and he brought in Melody Ray, and just some of the, and I told him the artists that I love, and I told him, Jasmine Sullivan and Michael and Marvin, and so we tailored the stuff to be perfect for what I was going through. So Catch Your Eye, Staycation, Swizz produced that as well, and I Know My Name, and we recorded like 6 songs, and 3 of them ended up on the album. And those are just my people. Like I will have love for them to the day I die. You know what I'm saying? Because they believed and didn't get anything from it. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't say like, yo, I'm gonna cut you a check and let me do this, let me buy out your studio. And no, it wasn't like that. It was just belief, and it was love. And Alicia came through the studio, and they brought in Harry Belafonte.
Oh, wow.
There was just good vibes the whole time.
That's
it was just
so beautiful. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Now, you slightly mentioned, feeling like I just want to record my own stuff. And I think that I'm not an actor, but I assume that when you're playing a role, especially on TV for 4 seasons, and you're with this character of Jamal Line for all this time, you either sometimes maybe feel like this person is a part of you or this character is a part of you. How do you make sure that you disconnect and that you are making your sound and not something that is bled in from these 4 years of playing Jamal?
Well, you can for me, I can listen to the Empire music, and I can tell, of course, because it's me, but I can tell and differentiate the difference between something that is purely Jamal and something that I brought to the table. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I don't shy away from Jamal Lyon's music because that's my music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I do a concert, I'm going to be singing You're So Beautiful. I'm sorry. Like I wrote that joint. You know what I'm saying?
It's going to
be, it's still mine. It's just that it's got to be clear that that's from a soundtrack.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I look at Empire the same way that I look at, Whitney Houston did the Bodyguard soundtrack, Preacher's Wife, did, Waiting to Exhale, but it still was, those were her songs, even if it was being sung as a different character. So I don't shy away from the Jamal thing. I just want people, Jamal's music can be very literal to what he's going through. I love the song that Rodney Jerkins produced called Mama for me. And, but then we did another version, and it was strictly saying like Cookie and Lucius in the song. I was like, well, damn, now my mama ain't gonna think it's about her. You know what I'm saying? So there's a fine line, but for me, I don't worry about that because I know I've known myself as a human being, as a man, as an artist much longer than I've known Jamal.
True.
So Jamal is just a piece of who I am. Any role that I play is going to be a piece of who I am. And I'm going to put my full into that piece, but that's just a piece. This is all that I am.
I love
You know what I'm saying?
Who was the first person that you, besides someone that you worked with in the studio and they're like, they hear the track, who's someone maybe in your family that you played the tracks for when they were done and you wanted their input?
My younger brothers.
Okay.
I have a 28-year-old brother, Jake, and a 24-year-old brother, Jockey, and I play them my music all the time. And I know that if they love it, and my mom loves it, because my mom will tell me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And my brothers, I will be able to tell by their excitement about their head bob. You know what I'm saying? I'll be able to know. And I kind of go off of them. So, you know, I go off of them, and then there's other people that my assistant April is literally like my muse. You know what I'm saying? She's the epitome of, you know, black girl magic. Oh. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of lean on her for things. And then other artists, you know, I play it and I get love from other artists, and that means a lot to me.
Nice. When was it your parents that really kind of wanted you guys to go into entertainment, or was it something that you guys as kids, because I know your sister's an actress too, was it you guys saying, hey, this is what we want to do?
My mom did not want us to get into show business. It took us a long time, and I know that sounds crazy because I said that I got into it when I was 4. Yeah. But it took a long time for her to allow us to really do it. Okay. You know, we lived in New York, so we grew up walking down the streets and people being like, oh, I'm a model scout, because everybody was a model scout in the late 80s, you know what I'm saying, in New York. But it was something that she didn't want us to do. And she was an actor like in regional theater in New Orleans, where she is from. But other than that, no, she didn't want us to do it at all. But we used to watch The Cosby Show, and my older sister would call up NBC to an annoyance and be like, I want to play Rudy's friend. And then my mom got a book and started reading up about it, and she educated herself, and she treated it like a business, and she let it be known. And I can honestly say this with no bull. She let it be known, if y'all want to get out of this, there's always an exit. You can always leave. But we made it a family business, and we were broke before.
I think people forget that it's not all of a sudden you want to be an actor, now you've got empire. It's years leading up to things.
I got my SAG card in 1987.
Oh wow!
So that should let people know, like, that's a minute. It's been a minute. You know what I'm saying? It's been a minute. So it certainly is not an overnight success at all. And again, this is not my first time at the rodeo. It's just the biggest rodeo I've ever been to.
Oh, I like that.
So it's we've had extreme successes. We've had extreme failures. We've had a little bit, and then had nothing, and then had a little bit more, and then had nothing. So I know that world, and I know the idea. That's why my gratitude and my humility is so strong. I pray for humility every single day.
What do you think pulled you out of times where you just times that you really wanted to give up and you were about to throw in that towel, and what stopped you?
The fact that I know what I want to do with my life. I feel like once you know what you want to do and you know who you are, then those things are really difficult, and you're wondering, you start to feel like a loser inside your soul, but you have to keep going. Because I know so many times that my friends would call me up and they'd be like, yo man, like, we going here, XYZ, blah 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 blah, let's roll. And I'd be like, oh, I'm in the studio. They'd be like, I know they had to have been thinking to themselves, bruh, why? Like, for what reason? What are you recording today that you can't record tomorrow? But that was my therapy. That was for anything that I've been through, anything that I will go through. It's a way it's so therapeutic for me, and everybody has their own ways, and that was my way of creating. And creation to me is the best thing and the thing that I feel that I'm the best at.
Well, I think you created something really beautiful with some of my music.
Thank you
We do got to talk about Empire. It's been a few weeks, not a few, I would say even a couple months since December was, winter finale, and now we're coming back with new episodes Wednesday nights on Fox. But you did something really special this season too. Yeah. Director. Yeah. Watch out. Get it.
It was actually my music videos that got me the gig, because I started sending it to them as kind of my reel. And I've been asking since season 2 to do it. And I got to direct, and I got to direct such an amazing episode that could not be more about family. You see, it's Alfre Woodard's first episode in Current Times, playing Cookie's mom. Forrest Whitaker, I got to direct him.
He's up to no good.
He ain't right. He ain't right. We thought Uncle Eddie was about to be, Quincy Jones. Nah, bruh. He about to be scandalous. Scandalous. But it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. So it was all good energy on set.
What's it like now, 4 years in, 4 seasons in? I mean, it's got to be so different from when you guys first started and didn't know, like we feel like we got something special here, but let's just keep going, and you're getting to know everyone. What's it like for you 4 seasons later?
It's deep, man. Like it's crazy. It's almost like being a senior in high school. You know what I'm saying? Where when you're a freshman, you don't know if you got what it takes. You know what I'm saying? And usually 10th grade, you fail a little bit like we did in our second season. We know it. Y'all ain't the only one. So we know that it was crazy. Okay.
Crazy.
We get it. We knew we came back once Jamal got shot. We get it. But it's just a thing of I can honestly say that I have yet to phone it in.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It still means a great deal to me. I'm still a fan of the show. I'm always, looking for ways and probably offering my opinion way too much about, y'all, we should do this because we got to do this for the people. We got to do this for the people. But we started off as like the little train that could.
Yeah.
And everybody questioned us. We didn't have no love from fashion designers or all of those clothes. A lot of those clothes were literally pulled from Monique Timberland's wife at the time, pulled from her closet for Cookie. A lot of people don't realize that. The dress that Cookie wore walking out of jail, that's from Forever 21. Like we didn't have we didn't have all of these designers coming at us, and I think that's why also season 2 we got kind of mixed up and faltered and failed a little bit, because just artistically failed, because it was like coming to a party and being the odd kid out, and then all of a sudden you're successful, and then everybody's coming to you and you become a little skanky. You know what I'm saying? Whereas the thing of like, yo, you gonna get some, you gonna get some, you gonna get some, you can be on the show, and you can be on the show, and you can be on the show, because nobody was messing with us before. It was basically out of Lee Daniels' contact list, so he could get Naomi Campbell on, he could get people to come on. But then second season, everybody wanted to be on. It became like Soul Train. And but I mean, these days I feel like we found our footing, and and what I can say honestly is that we can say what we want, but at the end of the day, Empire is full of true artists. And with artists, you're gonna fail. Sometimes you're going to throw things up against the wall and it's just not going to work. You know what I'm saying? But you keep on going and you keep creating, because that's what artists do.
Definitely. What is there anything that you can tell me about the upcoming season to either look forward to? No spoilers. I'm not looking at that, but just
I feel like I can give you a spoiler.
Okay,
I feel like I can say honestly, because it'll make people happy, that Cookie and Lucius end up together. Yeah, finally. Like, I don't feel like, and if that gets me in trouble, then I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I apologize. But yes, Cookie and Lucius end up together. And it's what we've been waiting for this entire time. Because I feel like it's okay for people to know that Cookie and Lucius end up together, because you need to see the way that they end up together. The first episode back, for instance, it doesn't even feel like Empire. It's this crazy kind of standalone episode that is insane. And then in the next episode, we go back to normal. But it's this whole kidnapping thing, and that's resolved in the first episode. But what we see is kind of, if you look deeper at the innuendos, it's kind of a study in where we are in this country right now. You know what I'm saying? As far as race, as far as culture, as far as relationships. And Cookie and Lucius really find their way, and they start talking things out that you can't get to love and truth unless you have truth and reconciliation. You know what I'm saying? In any way.
Yeah.
And they come to an understanding, and it really is like, okay, now we're seeing this couple rebuilding their lives, because for so many years it's been, who's going to get the Empire? Who's going to do this? We're battling each other. I can honestly say this part of the season, and that's in large part due to what Felicia Rashad's character and Taye Diggs' character brought, where the family is now fighting outside sources instead of fighting within, which is dope.
I love that.
It's dope.
And Claudia gets...
I won't say nothing, but Claudia, I will say that Claudia's in the first episode.
She was all raspy too.
Demi Moore is such a sweetheart. Claudia is the devil.
Funny.
Is the devil. So yeah, she's she makes an appearance in episode 1, causing drama. But then we kind of we get to to some normalcy.
I love it. Wednesday nights, Fox, again, March 28th. That is when the new spring premiere happens, 8 p.m. Again, make sure you are watching Empire on Fox Wednesday nights. And I know I was jealous of you earlier, but there's something else that I'm even more massively jealous about. Jussie.
What?
You met Obama.
I did.
Oh!
And Mrs. Obama.
Oh, and Michelle.
Yeah.
How is it?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I call them Obi and Mishi.
Oh, really? You got nicknames?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
You're just like that
I'm
with
just
them.
cool with them like that. You feel me? Like, I mean, they call me J-Bug. You know what I'm saying? Things like that.
Look at that.
Things like that. Because we go back. We
Yeah.
go back like babies and pacifiers. Yeah. I went to the White House.
Mm-hmm.
I be holding my pictures too.
Look, here's the thing. I don't care how long it's going to be that they're out of office. I will forever be like jealous of anyone until the day that I get to meet them, of people who got to meet Michelle and Barack Obama.
There was a moment where, because here's the thing, I was at their inauguration, you know, and I then got to perform for that. When I say I was at their inauguration, like I was like everybody else. I bought a ticket.
Oh my God,
you
that's
know,
awesome.
Went and actually I didn't buy a ticket. Raven brought me. I'm lying, trying to act like I had money. I ain't had no damn money to buy no ticket.
But you were at the inauguration.
I was at the inauguration
where
in the cold,
where a lot of people were.
Yeah. I wasn't in like no special
people
place.
than anybody.
Yeah, I wasn't chilling with more people than anybody.
Just so
than
you know.
Anybody, especially this last inauguration. But yeah, and then they invited me back to, and you know what's so funny? This is the way that the universe works. I said it was just a couple of months before they were out of office, and the other thing hadn't been elected yet.
Okay,
so
I love that
we
you
were
said
still
thing.
we
You're
were
like my
still
soulmate now.
looking forward to the future.
Yeah.
And I said, all I want to do, I said it out loud too. I said, all I want to do is I just want to sing for the Obamas before they're out of office. Literally 3 weeks later, my boy Ricky Minor calls me and he's like, "Yo, brother, I'm doing this event for the Obamas and they requested that you sing." And I'm like, "Wait, what? What?" And they said it's a tribute to Ray Charles, and we want you to sing "I Got a Woman." And I'm like, oh, hell to the yes. And I got to meet Mrs. Obama, and she was so kind, so wonderful. I got to meet President Obama. I spent a lot of time with Mrs. Obama and then a moment with President Obama. I got to bring my older brother, who to me will, if I had my way, he will run for public office one day because he's just brilliant and he would save the world.
I love that.
But yeah, and it was just a moment. Like, it was such a moment. And we had such a huge part in helping with his campaign and campaigning so hard for him. So to be there in the White House at a moment like that, it just felt like, I'm telling you, you went in there and you just felt so comfortable. And I remember saying to Mrs. Obama, it feels way too comfortable here. And she said, it should feel comfortable. She's like, this is your house. And I was like, oh my God. And now I look at the trash that's sitting there and I just know, I'm just like, oh my goodness.
So I'm guessing
colonizer.
If you got another request, there would be like, oh, sorry, busy.
Oh, I wouldn't say sorry, busy. I'd probably post the request online and be like, hell to the mother. No. He ain't ever gonna invite me anyway. Come on, man.
That's the thing too. I know.
I can rest assured. First of all, I'm not in the NBA.
Yeah.
I'm not on an Olympic team, so there's no reason why I would ever do anything that would be like, okay, now you have to go to the White House, so you have to make that choice. I guarantee you, no one in that White House will ever want me to roll up in that piece. Ever.
And that's how we want it.
You don't want it, bruh. You don't want none of this. Because I'm bringing my picket signs. I'm bringing all of my people. Yeah, trust. You don't want none of this.
Is there someone that, because for me, like, it was so hard to come into work the next day because especially with an industry that we work in, I had to, like, I do the news. I had to say it. I have yet to be able to put the word president and the name Donald Trump and like put it together. Like, I would always be like President Obama. Like, I put those two together. Now it's either
we say
the president or I'll say Donald, that kind of thing. It's so hard for me to Trump. It's really hard for me to put them together because that is not something that I believe in. I don't believe in that administration. But I do believe in looking forward to the future
Absolutely.
and someone else that can come in and hopefully really lead this country the way that we need someone to. Is there someone that you are looking at or somewhere like?
I mean, here's the thing. We have so many people that are upcoming, politicians. Like, I think that Kamala Harris is wonderful. I think that she is wonderful. She's killer. My whole thing is I just want to make sure that the person that is going to run has had enough under their belt to really, even though, but then I think about it and I'm like, this trash ain't had nothing under his belt except McDonald's.
It's crazy.
And so, it is what it is. I think at this point, anybody could run. I think that my younger brother could run. I'm of age. I can run. You know what I'm saying? But I just want us to have a very real candidate, someone that is not a dream candidate, is not, I love the idea of Oprah Winfrey, but it's like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So let's not put all of our focus on a dream candidate, as wonderful as Oprah is.
Yeah.
Let's not put all of our ducks into one basket that is not going to, or eggs into one basket that is not going to happen, because then it's just a dream candidate and we're not focusing and lifting up someone that actually wants to be the candidate to make that change. So someone like a Kamala Harris, I don't know why Maxine Waters don't run. You know what I'm saying?
It broke my heart that when Joe Biden didn't decide to run, but he had done an interview with Oprah and he had said, the person who runs, and it was very much in what you were saying, the person who runs needs to be very willing to sacrifice everything for this country, because you are that civil servant for the entire country. And he's like, and at that time of my life, I knew I couldn't do it. And that's when I knew, I was like, see, Joe, you get it.
I respect him even more, though, for saying that.
Exactly.
He had just lost his son and everything like that. So I respect him even more for him actually saying that. It takes a real G to be in any way, any career, any format, to be able to be like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to bring to the table what is needed for that.
Yeah.
Even if it's a role, like if it's a role that I don't care how badly my ego wants a role, if it's not right. And
that's what I felt with Donald. It was the ego. I think he really didn't think he was going to win. And then the ego was like, well, you can't give up now. You can't just bow out just because you know that you really don't want this. It was
I feel like
the
it
ego
got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden this fool is sitting in the White House now and he's like, what is happening? You know what I'm saying? It's an embarrassment.
It really
we
is.
should be. I know I am, and this is we love the country. You know what I'm saying? This is what I always say. My mom, I use this as an analogy. My mom loves her kids more than any human being on the planet. When we fuck up, we can beep. When we fuck up, she tells us about it. She calls us on it. She will clown us and she will shame us to ourselves until we fix what we're supposed to fix.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that she doesn't love us. I would actually think that if she doesn't do that to us, it means she doesn't care. It means that she's negligent. It means more of a reason to say she doesn't love us. That's why I'm the first one to call out this country when this country is not doing the right thing. Because if you love something, why aren't you calling it out? You know what I'm saying? I don't love the trash that's in the White House, but I love the place that the trash is representing. And I'm disgusted at the fact that this is the trash that is representing us. Because he doesn't represent me. He doesn't represent you. You know what I'm saying? No. So I think that it's a shame, but we do what we do. We'll get him out.
We'll get him out.
And he'll probably be out, hopefully, before 2020. I think so.
Jussie, thank you so much for coming
Thank you for having me.
Make sure you go download some of my music. It's on all music platforms.
It's on all music platforms.
Play Staycation first, just out of my request.
That's right.
But go listen to it. And then again, Wednesday nights on Fox Empire is coming back. Again, Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. on Fox. Jussie, thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.